What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JB, aka the King of Soul, and today we got some Air Jordan 11s to look at. The Air Jordan 11 Retro, this is the Bred colorway. Before we get into the review, do me a favor. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. If you do dig the content, also hit that share button. Now these videos that we feature on this channel are strictly for review purposes, so if you do happen to have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to drop those down below. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the review. Now this is a sneaker that doesn't really need an introduction at all. Air Jordan 11 Bred. This sneaker has been retroed a few times. It's definitely one of my favorite, color ways for the Air Jordan 11 silhouette. Now this time with this release, they didn't really give us a special box or anything like that. Pretty standard Nike OG box here. So you do have the cardboard appeal up top, but you do have the black Nike swoosh. It is a swing box lid, but as you go around the box, you do have some Nike branding in the orange portion, and you do have Nike's Just Do It, that's their slogan. And then there's the Nike branding there as well. Other than that, it's just black up underneath at the bottom. Going towards the bottom portion of the box, not really too much going on, just the cardboard approach again. And you do have the black Nike branding and then copyright information, and that's pretty much it. So for those that do care about that, there you go. Now the box label on the sneaker does read Air Jordan 11 Retro. The colorway says black, true red, and then white. Now this sneaker again doesn't need any introduction, and it is one of those swing box lids. You do have the gold, looks like a gold sticker here on the inside of the box lid. Inside the sneaker, you actually have this black cardboard insert here, and it does have, I'm not really going to read it or anything, but it's has that silver metallic text there, and it does have the silver metallic Jordan Jumpman logo up top. But inside, when you do open the box, you are met with I call it this black trash bag paper here. Nothing too exciting, but up underneath, you got the sneaker itself, man. Again, this is a sneaker that does not need any introduction. Air Jordan 11s are my favorite silhouette. This happens to be my favorite colorway out of the whole bunch. Even though it's one of those black, red, and white sneakers, and again, that's because Michael Jordan played with the Chicago Bulls, so of course most of his sneakers do tend to have that Chicago Bulls color blocking. But it was just something about this one. But I'm not going to talk you guys to death about this one too much. You've already seen this one before. I'm just glad that the vendor was actually able to give me another pair of these to add to my collection. So shout out to them. But there's the front of the sneaker. But let's get into it. Air Jordan 11 Retro Bred. So let's take a look at the right sneaker like we always do. Now, from hindsight, it looks just like any other Air Jordan 11 silhouette. Now, with this most current release, because this sneaker has been retroed a few times, but with this release, one thing that I was happy about, the patent leather. They actually did give us the higher cut patent leather. Most releases with this sneaker, this color blocking, it actually was a situation where they actually gave us a thinner leather, going across the lateral and medial sides of the sneaker. So I'm glad with this release they actually gave us the thicker cut patent leather, because I feel it adds a little bit more contrast and definition to the sneaker's overall design. But other than that, you do have this all black upper, and you do have the black nylon mesh material. You've seen this before, and it is nylon mesh even for the straps here going up into the lace loops here. Going towards the back portion, towards the heel of the sneaker, you do have that hit of black leather, and you do have that red Jordan Jumpman logo stitched right there. And then going towards the midsole of the sneaker, it is composed of this white foam material, and then you do have the red rubber showing up from up underneath. Pretty standard. Sock liner of the sneaker is in all black. Switching things over towards the front portion of the sneaker, you do have patent leather and black all here, and the toe box area, of course, you see that hit of red rubber coming from up underneath. And then you are met with more of that nylon mesh material coming up from the toe box area to the upper portion. Nylon mesh material. Now the sneaker did actually come pre-laced, and they did give us these black rope laces. You do do have more of that black nylon mesh material going, on the tongue of the sneaker. On the mid portion of the sneaker, you do actually have this black tag here, and it does have a white text going horizontal. Well, vertical actually depends on how you hold the shoe. But it just says Jumpman and then Jordan on one side, and then it does have the red Jordan Jumpman logo there smack dead in the middle. There isn't really thing as far as branding go on the tongue. It's just like, that black mesh material. And that's pretty much it for the front portion of the sneaker. The medial side of the sneaker is pretty consistent with the other side. So like you do have like, more of that black mesh material, black leather going towards like the heel, and then you do have more of that black patent leather here. Going toward the midsole, more of that white foam material, and then the red rubber showing from up underneath. Switching things over, going towards the rear portion of the sneaker, you do have like this upper portion here. It's in black, and it does have the white 23, which is like, Michael Jordan's number, and that is like, pretty much like, one of the signature hits of the sneaker itself. And then some Air Jordan 11 releases, they did switch it up and give us the number 45 as of late, but I'm happy with this one that they did stick with the 23 versus the 45. That's just me. More of that black leather here going toward the mid portion, and then you do have more of that patent leather, the white midsole, and then a red rubber, showing up from underneath. Going toward the bottom portion of the sneaker, you do have like, more of that red rubber showing up from underneath, and then you do have the herringbone traction both up here toward the toe area and going towards the heel. Now going toward the mid portion of the sneaker, you do see that black Jordan Jumpman logo showing, from up underneath, from like, the translucent bottom, and then you do have that carbon fiber material here, and it is like, in that checkered black and white. But again, man, this is a solid sneaker, man. If I was actually to rate this one, I'm gonna definitely go ahead and give this one a 10 out of 10. This is, again, one of my favorite Air Jordan 11. If you don't know it by now, it is one of my favorite Air Jordan silhouettes. This is one of my favorite colors, colorways of the sneaker. So yeah, we're going with a 10 out of 10 out of this one. As far as like, sizing or anything on this sneaker does fit, true to size to me. I do hear people talk about like, cause it is kind of like, crafted, kind of like, with a narrow design. So some people do tend to go up like a half size on this sneaker, but to each its own. But for me, I recommend going true to size. As far as like comfort, the sneaker fits just like any other Air Jordan 11 sneaker. Nothing really too much to, know there, but that's just pretty much it. But I definitely want to take the time to, shout out the vendor who actually gifted me these sneakers. Again, this is a sneaker that I had in my collection, but I was definitely glad to get a double up on these because you can never have too many pairs of these. So it's always, good to have one on ice. But I definitely encourage you guys to stay engaged with me like always. I can be reached on all social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, even here on YouTube. Everything is at the King of Soul. But before we go, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a 360 and then a B-roll like I always do. But there you go. Air Jordan 11 Retro Bred. So there's the front of the sneaker. There's the lateral side of the right. Lateral side of the left sneaker. There's the bottom portion. Herringbone traction, and you have the hits of red. Medial side of the sneaker. And then there's the rear. And again, I thank you guys for taking the time to tune in like always, but until next time, see you later.